3CR, your station, your voice.
Coming up is a podcast brought to you by the dedicated and diverse volunteers at 3CR. Just a quick message before you get there. For the month of June, we're asking listeners to donate to the station to help keep us going. We rely on the generous donations of the community to survive. Go to 3cr.org.au/donate and show your support for community-owned and community-run media. Thanks for your support and happy listening.
Slavery is back.
Welcome to a place where private business profit from a captive labour force, yet pennies are spent on medical services to a population in which the Indigenous, the poor and the mentally ill are overrepresented. Where isolation, humiliation and degradation are facts of life. Welcome to prison.
It depends who's telling the story, I suppose. The prisoners would have one view, the people who work in the prison system would have another, and I think it's up to people to decide where the truth is.
Give government propaganda and the media spin doctors the flick. And check out Doin Time for news, views and tunes on prison issues from Guantanamo Bay to Christmas Island to prisons and detention centres everywhere. Every Monday at 4 p.m. on your community radio 3CR.
We are still fired up and we're still talking about revolution.
Hello and welcome to the Doin Time show. This is 3CR Community Radio, 855 AM on the dial, streaming live on www.3cr.org.au. This is Marissa and I'll be taking you through for the next hour. And there's a content warning. This episode of Doin Time contains audio images of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who have died and discussion of deaths in custody and graphic discussion about massacres. Remembering the Myall Creek Massacre. Today's show is a special broadcast about the commemoration of the Myall Creek Massacre. Each year, hundreds of people from across the country gather on the Sunday of the June long weekend to commemorate the unprovoked massacre of at least 28 Wirraway women, children and old men by a group of stockmen on Myall Creek Station in June 1838. The Myall Creek Massacre Memorial on the Baringa-Gilungra Road near Baringa was erected in June 2000 by a group of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people working together in an act of truth-telling and reconciliation. Being the 25th anniversary of the memorial, the Doin Time show will bring you 3 interviews. Uncle Collin Isaac, who is an artist, and Uncle will tell us what land he's from. We're actually trying to find him at the moment. Colin lives locally in Inverell and was invited to create the art used along the memorial walkway at Myall Creek. Excited by the challenge to work in a new media, Colin offered his artistic talents as a means of bringing people together. And the Doin Time show has interviewed Uncle before. Then we will hear from Margaret Blacklock, who understood her extended family's need for somewhere to grieve, believing that healing could only come through acknowledgment of the past, where descendants of perpetrators truly express sorrow for those who suffered and in the capacity to forgive in their hearts. And I'm really looking forward to interviewing Margaret. We haven't interviewed her before, and it will be lovely to have her. And then after that, we'll bring you an interview with Keith Monro, co-chair of the Myall Creek Committee. And just a little bit of a quote from Keith. The Myall Creek Massacre is unique because it is the only time when non-Aboriginal people were tried in a court of law. 7 were retried a second time, found guilty and hanged. It was the first time that light was shed within the coronial narrative of massacre history. So pretty soon we will be bringing you these interviews, and I will check, but I believe that most of these people will be speakers at the upcoming memorial. But for now, I'm going to play you a song by Enna Donovan and the Putbacks. She's an Aboriginal musician, and it's called Don't Give Up on Me. And you're back with the Doin Time show, and it's approximately 4:08. And you heard an introduction about Myall Creek and remembering Myall Creek Massacre. And unfortunately, we were unable to get on to Uncle Collin, the beautiful artist who is going to be working on the memorial. But we will speak to him another time. And instead, I would like to honour and introduce Margaret Blacklock, and she is going to be speaking to us about Myall Creek. Hello, Margaret. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
It's so great to have you. I'm not sure what happened to Uncle Collin.
I'm not sure either.
We'll have to see. Margaret, can you just introduce yourself and talk about the Myall Creek Memorial and what's happening? It's so lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you. Well, Myall Creek is a massacre site just outside of Bingra. It's where... Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
It's up in the New England, and the reason why we set Myall Creek up, how Myall Creek come around, first of all, it's a massacre site, where there's many massacre sites in Australia. But it began as a project. We all studied under the UAICC, which is a body connected to the Uniting Church. Sue Blacklock, she had to do a project for her to become a minister through the Uniting Church. So we got together and she decided, and we all decided that we're going to do Myall Creek. So we first started out, there was 5 of us. There was John Brown, there was the Reverend Mervyn Blacklock, there was Alan Blacklock, there was myself, and there was John Brown. So when we set that project up, our main aim and our main goal for that project was to make it a place of acknowledgement, a place of acceptance, and also a place of forgiveness. So we wanted it to be a learning point and a stepping stone into the acknowledgement of what happened there.
And that's always really important, isn't it, to acknowledge the past?
Yes. Without acknowledging our past, how can we unify and unite our futures?
Exactly. So are you going to be a speaker at the upcoming memorial?
Yeah, I'm one of the guest speakers.
Tell us about that. What will you be speaking about?
Just about how the site, how we first got together and how we formed the committee for that site, and about what our goals that we have for it and what we want to accomplish through that committee, through our committee.
Because how did you get to hear about it?
How did we get to hear about it?
Yeah. How did you?
Oh, I heard about it a long, long time ago. Like, I heard about Myall Creek, and there was also there's Slaughterhouse Creek that's just outside of Moree. It's another massacre site. And, like, I just heard old people talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are so many massacres all over so-called Australia.
Yes.
And the Doin Time show is traditionally a show that looks a lot about First Nations content, and we often also look at deaths in custody and looking at the families of the bereaved people that died. And a lot of it is having a look at the anniversaries of all the massacres and having a look also at the descendants of not only people that were massacred, but also non-Aboriginal people who were descendants of people, of the perpetrators.
Yes. We along the way, we have met a lot of them people, and like when they came to us, because we didn't know them, they actually came to us and they introduced themselves to us, and like I think that was like a big step because they were acknowledging the atrocity that their family committed from the past, yet they were still willing to, come and unite and talk about it.
Yeah.
And not many, you don't get like many people that will admit and acknowledge that, yes, my family played a part in it. So you have to give credit where credit's due,
Oh, for sure. And I was just talking about that in my introduction that, a lot of the aim of the Myall Creek Memorial is to have people move on from that, move forward.
That is the main aim, but the biggest aim of all is to be able to move on in partnership and in in unity, to move on together. Because there's no point in one side moving on if the other side can't.
I mean, you obviously can't move on from the deaths and what happened, but you can move forward in reconciliation.
We will never, ever forget what happened to our ancestors.
You can't.
We will never forget that. We will, how it's something we can't forget, but we'll never forget. But the thing is, we don't want them to forget either. We want them to we want them to be able to acknowledge the true history, because not true history gets acknowledged.
Exactly. Can you tell us a little bit about your story? What land are you from?
I was born in Canamble. My dad's dad comes from Walgett. My mum's mother and father comes from Moree. My grandmother comes from Narrabri. My grandmother on my father's side, she was born at Angledoon Station.
Do you identify as First Nations?
Yep.
Cool.
I was born black and I'll die black.
Because some people don't want to.
Well, I'm not the one prepared. I could not give up my identity. I don't care. I will not give it up for anyone.
I'm really happy that you're on the show, Margaret, because it's really important to have strong First Nations women coming onto the show.
Well, it's good. It's good because, I don't know, I think we tend to speak our mind more.
Yep.
And we don't sit in the bubble that they create for us. I just say it like it is, me. If they don't like me, well, I'm not here to be loved. I'm only here to be listened to.
Oh, that's the best thing I've heard all year.
I'm sorry. We're on radio.
Of course.
Well, that's me, you know.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, you got to say it like it is.
You know, Margaret, this show is not mainstream media. Where this show is all about having a yarn and discussing, real life issues that are important.
Where I think everybody's life is important, but it's all about how you tell a story and who you make listen. You don't want people to listen with their eyes. You want them to listen with their ears.
Exactly. And what do you think are the most important things that you'll talk about at the memorial?
Well, I think the massacre, first of all. Second of all, I think the most important thing to talk about is the people that attend the massacre.
Okay.
Because there's a saying, you get 3 Ps, people, power, participation. Without the people, you can't get word out.
You're right.
And my main thing is, and has always been the goal for Myall Creek, is for it to be a learning point, and the biggest thing is acceptance. But you also want them to learn.
Isn't it also really important to have these massacres recorded in the school curriculum?
Yes, it is. Because I know when I was growing up, well, Captain Cook to me, it was, sorry, God, Catholics say Hail Mary. Well, I was taught Hail Captain Cook.
Yeah.
But only to find out when I left school that wasn't what he was like. So, how how are we going to move forward as a nation if we can't acknowledge and accept truth? You can't. We're not, I'm not saying in what I want, I don't want people to give me money. I don't want people to give me houses. I don't want people to give me this. I don't want people to give me that. I just want people, more than anything, to listen to our stories. There's stories right across this country.
Exactly. So you didn't realise at school?
No.
The history?
No.
Wow.
I thought Captain Cook was God.
Wow.
Until after I left school, and I remember talking to this old Aboriginal fella, I remember talking to this old Aboriginal fella out at Tinga. And I said to him one day, I said, Uncle, do you want to come to church? And he said to me, he said, what do I want to go to church for? I said, for God. He said, well, you know that Bible they're giving you, that's how they got our land. And then after he, said that to me, well, I just kept going back, and asking questions. And, I said, I don't understand, Uncle. And then I kept going back and asking him questions. And then that's when I first, discovered what the truth was all about.
So you went through, as a First Nations woman and a First Nations child, not knowing what had really happened in the genocide and the colonisation?
No, I didn't know. I went to Catholic school. I went to, when I was in public schools, I never heard nothing. I didn't ask nothing. And, but I knew about how they treated Aboriginal people, and for a long time I didn't want to be Aboriginal. I didn't want to be black.
Yep.
I didn't want to be black because I wanted to know everything.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like them. I wanted the same rights they all had, I wanted to be able to go to school. I wanted to be able to learn. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that in life. And then it was only when I, got to high school that I really understood, the difference. And then I don't know. I just got a saying in my head, when I, oh, God, I think I was only about 15. And I remember saying, I remember me saying all the time, and I sort of got trapped in it. I remember me saying, when you're black, you're not getting back. When you're white, you're right.
Oh, wow.
And I remember saying that, and that's why I wish that way,
Yeah.
And then later in life, when you actually learn about the real history, I just became so angry, and I just thought, look, I don't care what colour I am. If they don't want to teach me, I'm going to learn it anyway.
Exactly.
So then, I learned how to walk their walk. I learned how to talk their talk. And my motto is, when you want to learn something, never tell your enemy where you're going to war at. Sneak there before them and get what you want and get out.
That's good.
That played a big part in my education. That played a big part in me, learning systems and learning how to use their language.
You know, it's all about all this assimilation. The assimilation policies are alive and well still, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. But, like, they're all alive and well. Our people just need to learn how to not get angry, get even. Take their knowledge and their technology and beat them at their own game.
That is so cool.
That's me.
And is it okay if I call you Auntie?
Yeah, it's all right.
So, Auntie Margaret, I am so happy that I was able to meet you.
Me too.
So, tell us when it is, the actual memorial.
Myall Creek is Sunday, long weekend, this weekend.
And what would you say would be the most important things that people needed to learn?
Well, acknowledgement and forgiveness. We'll never forget, but we can forgive.
It's true. Very, very true.
Because if we don't have acknowledgement and forgiveness side by side, we know better than the perpetrators. And I don't want to be put in their classification because I'm better, because I'm black, sweet, neat and hard to beat. Put that on your radio.
I like that one. But everyone's welcome, isn't it? Even the descendants of the perpetrators, to help each other.
Everyone's welcome. Tell them they can send the King of England if they like.
I don't think you'll go.
Nah. Oh, I don't know. We should send him an invitation and see what happens.
Maybe we should.
There's a saying, don't count our chickens before our eggs hatch.
Exactly. Auntie, thank you so much for coming onto the program. It's been great having you, and I'm hoping that we can have you back again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
And that was Margaret Blacklock, who is Auntie Margaret, First Nations speaker, who is going to be speaking at the Myall Creek Memorial this long weekend. And I've never interviewed Margaret before, but I so enjoyed it.
Organising for Prison Abolition is a public lecture and panel discussion hosted by Flat Out and People Against Prisons Aotearoa, taking place on June the 4th in Naarm, Melbourne. Come join a mix of community organisers who are experimenting with ways to dismantle the prison industrial complex and work towards a more just society. 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June the 4th at Trades Hall Ballroom and Bar. Let's organise for a future without prisons. Tickets available through Eventbrite. Flat Out is a 3CR supporter. Throughout the month of June, we're asking you to support fierce, independent and community-controlled media by making a donation to our radiothon.
We'll be taking donations online, over the phone and in the station to help keep 3CR going for another year.
To donate, go to 3cr.org.au, call the station on 039419 8377
or drop in at 21 Smith Street, Fitzroy during business hours. 3CR, your station, your voice.
Public transport's great.
What's not great is that unless you've got a radio with you, you can't listen to 3CR when you're on it.
Until now, the Community Radio Plus app lets you listen to us wherever you are.
Get on board and search Community Radio Plus wherever you get your apps.
Time's on my mind when I had you by my side. Am I thinking loud? Do I want you around?
Throughout the month of June, we're asking you to support fierce, independent and community-controlled media by making a donation to our radiothon.
3CR, sponsored by Rio Tinto.
Hell no, hell no. 3CR, sponsored by Elbit Systems. Hell no, hell no.
3CR, sponsored by Woodside Energy.
Hell no, hell no.
3CR is listener supported.
It ain't enough to just give us an applause. It ain't enough to say you down with the cause. Real support will take more than talk. Together we gotta say
it's your station, your voice.
To donate, call 039419 8377 or go online at 3cr.org.au.
And in case you've just tuned in, this is the Doin Time show, and it's a special broadcast dedicated to remembering the Myall Creek Massacre. And you just heard an interview with the beautiful Auntie Margaret Blacklock, and she spoke very well about the massacre and told us lots of her story. And unfortunately, we still cannot get on to Uncle Collin Isaac, but we will bring you now a yarn and an interview with Keith Monro, who is, I believe, still the co-chair of the Myall Creek Committee. And I'd really like Keith to talk about where the event is and just a little bit about the background. Hello, Keith. Welcome.
Hi, Marissa. How are you?
Oh, it's been a bit hard going today on this show, but Were you still there?
I am sorry, but that's not a valid extension. Please try again.
Oh, I'm not sure what's happened here.
I am
I'll
sorry,
have to go
but that's
into...
not a valid extension. Please try again.
The war on Palestine has not stopped. Palestinians need self-determination. Gaza must be free of Israeli occupation forces, have unconditional access to aid and reconstruction. 17 years of Israeli siege must end.
The West Bank needs the violence and attacks by the Israeli army and settlers to stop, and an end to the occupation and apartheid.
Your support to end the war on Gaza to bring peace, justice and freedom to all of Palestine is needed more than ever.
Join the rally on Sunday, the 8th of June, 12 noon, outside the State Library on Swanston Street.
With Netanyahu and Trump threatening to ethnically cleanse Gaza and annex the West Bank, we all need to stand up and say no.
Rally, Sunday, 8th of June, midday, State Library.
With your support, Palestine will be free, from the river to the sea.
Free Palestine Melbourne is a 3CR supporter.
Hello, Keith.
Hi, Marissa. How are you?
Sorry, but we've got gremlins attacking here, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I was just telling you that it was hard going on the show, and then boom.
yeah. Well, I'm glad we're able to sort that out. But yeah, thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much. We have to have determination to talk about remembering Myall Creek. It's so important. And I was just telling you that I just finished interviewing the beautiful Auntie Margaret, and she told us quite a lot about her story. But I'm wondering, Keith, if you could just talk about Myall Creek and the background and what's going on.
Yes, I mean, this year is a milestone year for the memorial. It takes place every year over the, formerly the Queen's, now officially the King's birthday long weekend holiday in New South Wales. It enables all Australians that live both locally and further afield to gather on the Sunday of the long weekend, this Sunday, to remember the needless event that took place on the evening of the 10th of June, 1838. And as I said, this year's the 25th milestone anniversary since the memorial was dedicated to the history of that story, and it's an opportunity for us all to reaffirm our belief in everything that is good within our view of Australian life and our history.
It's pretty important, isn't it? And I think also every year we usually have you on this show, and I'm wondering, because I know you speak about what happened, and that's really important too, isn't it? Could you just, in case any new listeners have tuned in, talk about what happened?
Okay.
I've given a content warning as well, and I'll give it another one. Go on.
Yeah. So basically, on the evening of the 10th of June, 1838, a group of 10 stockmen that was led by, well, the stockman was convict and ex-convict labourers, was led by a free person. He was the only free person that was part of the group. So there was 11 in total. Rode into Myall Creek Station. And after a number of discussion between the staff on the station and the marauding group of men, that was a few days into a very violent undertaking leading up to the 10th of June, began to bound, but also needlessly and quite savagely massacre at least 28 men, women and old men at the station. And the group was actually joined by a staff member of the station, so there was 12 in total. 11 of the participants were arrested for their actions, and it marked the first time that non-Aboriginal people were tried in a court for their actions. The only person that wasn't charged or never saw a day in court was the person that led the massacre. The group were acquitted, and it was a quick thinking of the Chief Justice, George Plunkett, who re-arrested 7 of the 11 that had been tried in court. Those 7 men were re-trialled, were later found guilty and hung. And that marked the first and only time in our colonial history where non-Aboriginal people were charged in Australian common law, and some were found guilty and were hung for their actions. Obviously, that didn't stop the massacres throughout the country that took place. If anything, it could be argued that it increased the way in which massacres took place throughout the country. But that is the significance of the event, and I think why it's important, particularly for Gomeroi and neighbouring nations across the New England and Northwest tablelands to gather every year to remember that important history.
And it is really important, isn't it? I mean, so will there be musicians there at all, and will there also be a ceremony as well? Tell us about what will happen on the day.
There's a whole program of events that take place, starting in Armidale on Friday with a partnership with the University of New England. So we have that taking place at the Urala Centre on Friday. A panel discussion involving a number of staff from the university, a number of committee members, current and previous committee members of the committee, the Myall Creek Memorial Committee. And we've got the memorial event that takes place on the Sunday, beginning at 9 a.m. At the Myall Creek Ladies Auxiliary Hall. And then the commemoration will the Myall Creek Hall at 9 a.m, and then the commemoration will take place not long after that as we walk from the Myall Creek Hall up to the memorial site. It's a short, roughly 1 kilometre walk. There will be a number of groups that will be performing, Gomeroi groups that perform every year, Marissa, I might add.
Yep.
There'll be guest speakers reflecting on the milestone 25th anniversary. And Margaret, that you just heard from, Paulette Hayes, Colin Isaac, Uncle Collin, and Ted Stubbins. That will, I suppose, reflect as founding members of the committee on their personal insights to visitors on the day. What's special about the event is, I suppose, the opportunity for people to be invited into that space. We're sharing our culture, our language with all visitors. We have an incredible and quite large participation of schools that not just local schools, but also schools from the Queensland and the ACT areas of the country that travel every year, and it's obviously during the holiday period, so they're giving up their time to attend, and I think that's also quite amazing. Also, schools from the north coast of New South Wales who are actually participants in the formal aspects of the commemoration. So, but they're placed throughout the memorial walk, and they reflect the story as people walk from the start of the memorial down to the memorial rock. And the school students at each stage of that story reflect the story to visitors and guests as they're making their way down there. And there's also events taking place at the Ceramic Break Sculpture Park, which is an event that will engage artisans and local artists up in the community. That has also been an annual event that's been held over that long week end as well, which we'd also like to let visitors know about.
Fantastic. So can you just clarify mention the speakers again?
Yeah, so this year we usually have one invited speaker, but because it's a milestone event, and the committee reflect on this, we come to the conclusion that it was an opportunity for us all, I suppose, to understand the context of how the committee was formed. So we came up with the resolution to invite 4 guest speakers this year who will all share their personal insights as Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal former members of the founding committee. And Paulette Hayes, she's a local resident from Bingra. We first learned about the massacre in the 1980s from fellow resident Len Payne. She studied Aboriginal studies at the University of New England in the mid-90s, and that sort of provided the catalyst for her journey to be part of the inaugural Myall Creek Committee. Auntie Margaret Blacklock from Tinga, which is a nearby community, understood her family's connections to that site and its story, and believed in healing as a way of coming through and acknowledging of that past. And I suppose hearing her insights around how the Memorial Rock came to being as well, I think is also important from a visitor's perspective. Uncle Collin Isaac is a Darwin artist, who's been living locally in Inverell, an incredible artist in his own right, who contributed to the actual design of the memorial path and what it means from his personal, artistic, but also cultural lens. Hearing from him about those early years of the memorial, I think, is really important. And the final member of the guest list who will be speaking on Sunday is Ted Stubbins. is a local resident from Warriorda. And Ted was an ex-teacher at the local school in Warriorda. Incredibly passionate about regional Australia, and an important role that our shared history has in us having a greater understanding for us to be able to move forward. I think is important to be able to, I suppose, share with audiences on the day. So I think it's a space for us all to, I suppose, look at hearing how these four people from different cultural perspectives, slightly different geographies have sort of been inspired, I suppose, as inaugural committee members of the Myall Creek Memorial, and to hear a little bit about what was the catalyst, I suppose, to create this incredible memorial that we're now visiting 25 years later.
I think it's great that you were able to talk about all the speakers, and in fact, we don't know what's happened to Uncle Collin. He was meant to come in at 4, so I think I will see if I can have him back after the memorial and see if he can maybe give a report back, an update.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not sure why he wasn't able to get alcohol, but he is also, he can be busy.
Yeah, definitely.
Different sort of projects and community work that he's involved with, in Sydney and also up closer to home in New England as well. So, yeah, okay. I am hoping you'll be able to hear from him, Marissa, because, as I said, he's been an important part of this story. His family has been an important part of this story. Every year for participants that have been to the memorial, he has consistently been the one that undertakes the smoking ceremony that people walk through on the start of the memorial journey. He's a very passionate cultural person, and he, along with the other 3 members that are big guest speakers on the day, have been real anchors of what has been achieved out at the Myall Creek Memorial site. I mean, the site is not only a National Heritage listed site, it's also a State Heritage listed site. And, although we go to pay our respect and remember the events that took place in 1838, I think the other important part of the Myall Creek story is the memorial itself and the opportunity for people, whether they're visiting during the long weekend or whether they're visiting outside the long weekend, to actually understand that they are part of changing the history of our country by just attending that site and paying their respects. And in some part, we also acknowledge the work that the founding members have done on Sunday when we hear from them talk about that story.
Yeah, look, it's really fantastic that you could join us today, Keith, and I think I may have interviewed Uncle Collin a long time ago, but I will be connecting with him again at some stage, but very soon. So just to put things in context so that people know where to go, in case there are listeners listening in that do want to go. So it's the Myall Creek Massacre 25th Memorial Commemoration, and it starts at 9 o'clock on Sunday, the 8th of June, doesn't it?
Yep.
And it's whereabouts? So it's the Myall Creek Hall, Reserve Creek Road, Myall Creek, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's on the Bingra to Delungra Road, and it's roughly 20 kilometres from Bingra, on the Bingra to Delungra Road. There are signs as you're leading closer to the site that you'll see along the roadside, and there'll be people in high vis gear directing traffic as you get closer to the memorial site as well in the morning in particular. So if you have never been to the New England area or the Northern Tablelands area of New South Wales, Northern New South Wales, if you can find your way on the Bingra to Delunga Road, you will find the Myall Creek Memorial. It's roughly halfway between Bingra and Delunga.
There, thanks for letting us know those directions. So, listeners, if it's really important to see if you can head down to the memorial, and if you can't, we'll give you some updates on the show, and hopefully next year I will be able to come and record for 3CR, because I just think that would be so powerful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it would be amazing. I mean, we get a lot of support from the local media in the New England area as well, the local WIN, NBN, Prime, ABC stations do a really amazing job covering the event leading up to and on the day. So it gets broadcast on the news that day, which is really wonderful. So there's a presence, there's a growing, I suppose, interest in people understanding the real history of this country. And, it sort of doesn't matter where you live, where you travel on holidays. I mean, it's important to, I suppose, those places or parts of those gaps in the knowledge where, you might be able to be enriched by information or stories. Myall Creek is an important part of that process. I think, that there are good parts to our history, there are not so good parts to our history. And I think a mature nation is able to celebrate the good parts, but also acknowledge and reflect on the not so good parts. And I think that's a true sign of a maturing country. I welcome visitors that are able to attend the event on Sunday to come along. I also am happy to invite and encourage your listeners to be able to pop by when you're able to visit up that part of New South Wales, Marissa, because it is a beautiful part of the country. And the site itself is quite... It holds a lot of history and a lot of stories, not just the sad one that took place on the 10th of June 1888, but a lot of rich cultural stuff that we see on country as Gomeroi people. Your listeners are more than welcome to be able to pop up there and visit Gomeroi country when they're able to.
That's great. And what land are you from, Keith?
Gomeroi.
You're Gomeroi as well?
Yeah, Gomeroi.
And so you're also an artist, aren't you?
Studied, but I'm more in arts administration now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've done some great work yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, well that's great that you could come on. Any final comments before we finish?
I mean, I just want to thank you and your station for being sort of long-time supporters of the memorial event. What I think I'm most grateful for is the way in which our elders have held that knowledge close to them. And that knowledge, that living knowledge, has been able to be passed down. And we see that, I think, through the stories that are embedded across the country when it comes to these similar types of stories. And I know Victoria is undertaking a process at the moment that enables Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people to be able to shed light on that. I don't think it's something that we should shy away from. I think what makes us a better country is for us all to look at the real parts of that history that have never had the cold light of day being shed on it, because I think that's where healing can happen, and that's that are spaces where we can really forge new futures, for us as a country that honours and respects and celebrates the 60+ thousand years of rich culture that we see as Aboriginal people throughout our lands, with the more recent history of cultures that have come to our shores and have made this an incredible country of diverse people, diverse foods that we get to enjoy here in Australia as Australians, and I think that makes our country a better place to be in, and it reflects a stronger, more unified Australia when that can happen, I think.
The people united shall never be defeated.
Yeah, exactly.
Keith, thank you so much for coming onto the program, and hoping that you all have a wonderful weekend and coming together.
Oh, thanks, Marissa. I mean, it's always a really lovely day. There's been a couple of days where the fog has been horrendous, but usually by the time the memorial starts, it's lifted and our dancers are out there, showcasing our culture to our audiences, and it always ends up a beautiful day at the end. So we're blessed in many ways. So thank you again for hosting us.
Thanks a lot. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yellow. Bye.
Bye-bye. And it's approximately, what is the time? Oh, wow. We've got about a minute before we're out of here. So that was an extended interview with Keith Monro speaking about remembering the Myall Creek Memorial. Just a reminder also to listeners that Radiothon is happening in the month of June, the whole month of June, and the Doin Time show needs to raise $1,000. And we're traditionally here to acknowledge massacres like Myall Creek Massacre, and there's also been quite a few more deaths in custody as well, and we need to honour all the frontier stories. So it's approximately 4:56, and we're going to be going out now with our theme song Black Fella, White Fella by the Rumpy Band, and stay tuned every Monday for the Doin Time show from 4 till 5. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Color, as long as you a true fella, as long as you a real fella. All the people of different races with different lives in different places. It doesn't matter what your name is. We got to have lots of changes. We need more brothers if we're to make it. We need more sisters if we're to save it. Are you the one who's gonna stand up and be counted? Are you the one who's gonna be there when we're shouting? Are you the one who's always ready with a helping hand? Are you the one who understands this family plan? Black fella, white fella, yellow fella,
3CR, your station, your voice.
Did you enjoy listening to that podcast? 3CR is a community radio station, and you, the listener, are a part of that community. Right now, it's our radiothon. We need you to pitch in with a few dollars to keep the station going. We can't do it without you. It's easy. Head to 3cr.org.au/donate. Your donations really matter.